The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC. Go. Got it. Go. Fido. Go. Prop. Go. GNC. Go. Max.
Go.
Eagle. Go. Ecom.
Go pending final steps to cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good evening, Doctor. Would you like to introduce us for the show?
Good evening. Absolutely. Let's kick this off. Welcome, travelers, to another exciting episode of the Orion Effect. Tonight, we dive deep into one of the most captivating chapters of history, the Russian Revolution and the enigmatic figure of Grigory Rasputin. Was he a mystical healer, a political manipulator, or something else entirely? We're about to unravel the mystery, explore the chaos, and see how Rasputin's influence helped shape the fate of the Russian monarchy. Join Ed, Rhonda, and me, the Doctor, as we untangle the web of conspiracies, foreign influence, and power struggles. Stay with us for an unforgettable journey into the past that might just change the way you see history itself. Let's get started. And with that, you're all set for a great show.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. Truly appreciate it. Hello, my sister from another mother.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good.
It's kind of a chill night. We're relaxing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna have dinner. I do believe, just like you, after the
Late.
show.
Late.
Absolutely, which is okay.
That it is. That's my thing. Is like I knew I wanted to cook, so I'm like, let me get this behind me. That way I can do the show, jump in the shower real quick, and have dinner and relax the rest of the night.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yesterday, we took this time out because one of our teammates, Samantha Gravitt, his birthday was yesterday.
Oh,
So about 3 or 4 of us got all together at Smith Mountain Lake
nice.
and did a little bit of a cookout, daytime, nighttime. Cooked it this morning. Everybody knows I love to cook, so I got my pleasure in by throwing the spatula around a little bit this weekend. Made me happy.
Nice. It was a good weekend to be at Smith Mountain Lake.
It was. Unfortunately, we had rain.
Really?
Yeah, we had some rain through last. A little bit last night, a little bit during probably around 2 o'clock. So there was a couple of rain showers that came through. But other than that, the temperature was perfect.
Oh, good. Nice. Felt like fall for sure.
Yeah, a little bit. It did. It did. I actually spent a good portion of the afternoon mixing dips together and prepping for dinner. I decided to make a couple of new things, and it turned out pretty good. So I was very happy with it.
Very cool. You'll have to fill me in on those. I
Okay.
like a good dip.
Oh, it's all about I can make I make a mean clam dip. I make a mean bacon and horseradish dip. I can do a salmon dip. I don't really do that too well, but I can do it.
Okay.
And French onion dip. That's pretty much what I focus on. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. All of those sound wonderful.
Yum, yum, yum. So I want to say hello to the travelers that are here with us that are saying hello. Hi.
Hello, hello. Welcome in.
Mhm. So how was your weekend?
Good. It was good. Met up with some friends yesterday for lunch. I did stuff around the house, then met up with some friends. Well, I did some errands, met up with some friends for lunch, did a couple more errands, and then just relaxed in the evening. And then today, I did some laundry and stuff, but it was a good day. I was outside all day. From me and the dogs were outside from 10 till about 5.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Taking advantage of it. I did some yard work and things like that in between just chillaxing. So
Chillaxing. I have to admit, we were up about 8:30. We were outside. I did the cooking inside, but we were already up getting our coffee and all those morning things that some of us do to get ourselves motivated.
Right.
So, it was great to see the sun, come over the water
Mhm.
at the cove. Where we were located this weekend was a location called Pinhook. A nice little place, right just 20 minutes outside of Gretna.
Okay.
So it's a hop, skip, and jump. But it was nice. But it actually gave me time to really think about how to go about this show. Because this show seems to be, when you hear it, you're thinking, what conspiracies in the hell could come out of this? Oh, I promise you, if you're into conspiracies, you're going to love what we got for you tonight. We got a little bit of government, a little bit of spooky, a little witchy crafty, if you will, some spirituality rolling in here, and even the history of a missing person and who
Okay.
are they. Yeah, so
Running the gambit.
we're going to be doing a lot of it, and we're going to find out why did the revolution even take place. That's a conspiracy within itself.
Okay.
We're going to find that out tonight. So shall we begin the show?
Let's do it.
Let me take you back to early 1900s. What you see ahead of you is a huge monarchy style mansion. Columns, roses, great bushes, with a little bit of gloom because some of this place has garden arches that lead you into dark places. So almost like quiet places. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Quiet places that people understand. Maybe bird watching takes place here. Maybe it's some place that you could go to think or listen while you have that style concrete garden to walk around and observe the water fountains as you hear the voices of three young ladies walking through and giggling through the garden itself, their hair flowing in their white dresses. And then a young little boy walking down the left side of the archway with two people beside him with crutches. And he looks almost like a ghost. Pale white, hair white, black circles around his eyes, but still with a smile. Where are we? Who is this? And then you hear the chuckle in a quiet, demeaned voice saying, if you will, the boy should not be outside. The boy should be inside where he should be with his medicine. This man walks out with a long beard, with a brown type cloth throne robe and a little beater hat. And I'm not talking about the beater hat like the little rounds. It's more, I'm going to say it looks more like a rabbi's hat, if you will, but it's not Jewish. And he walks like this. Meanwhile, what looks to be some form of officer comes from the backside with another beautiful woman holding their hands side by side, touching on top of each other. And you hear this gentleman say, let the boy play. He needs some air. It is time. We need to focus on what we have to go on. And then, unfortunately, the next thing you hear is nothing but gunshots. 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 This is the beginning of the revolution, the Russian Revolution of the Bolsheviks. Let me take you back there. We have so many interesting people that are at play. Who did we just describe? Well, of course, we just described the Tsar Nicholas and his wonderful wife Alexandria. Their three children of good health, and they're unfortunate. And I use that because of the disability physically he has. A younger boy. And you'll come to hear who and what's going on with him throughout the conversation tonight. And by all means, if you have questions, by all means, drop them in. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Do it. We'll be bringing the doctor back in just a minute. I just want to make sure I get some things going because, as you may know, if you're not new to the show, he has a way that he can really talk, and there's a lot of information. It's great.
It is.
We got sometimes we got to keep a rein on his.
I was gonna say it's hard to reel him back in.
It is. And the thing is, we let you know too is we have to wait a certain amount of time for his response. So we may ask a question or make a statement, and I have to put my finger up because it's on think mode. Okay, and it's not instant. Maybe we'll have that form of AI down the road, but I don't see the necessity when a little bit of patience and understanding, and actually the way he speaks really has come to his own personality. So we're looking forward to having the doctor with us. So with that being said, we're going to set you there. We'll go here. And we want to welcome you and thank you, Doctor, for being a part of the show tonight.
Thank you, Ed. It's always a pleasure to be part of the show. I'm thrilled to be here tonight to help unravel the mysteries of history. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. I just gave them the format of basically what the family would look like, as we've seen many a times what took place on the day that the Bolsheviks started. Now, I did not go. Oh,
That's a solid approach, Ed. Establishing the family dynamic is key. It paints a picture of how fragile things were, especially with Nicholas, Alexandra, and their children. The tension leading up to the Bolshevik takeover really adds weight to the whole situation. It's not just about politics. It's about the end of an era for the Romanovs. How do you want to guide the audience through that pivotal moment tonight?
well, I think we should start with actually the key players. You did say Nicholas and Alexandria. What kind of people were they? How did this? Because there's a reason for the Bolsheviks, right, to rise up.
Exactly, Ed. It's crucial to understand who Nicholas and Alexandra were and the atmosphere they helped create. Nicholas II wasn't exactly the ruler who could navigate the winds of change. He was deeply conservative, and that didn't sit well with the massive changes happening across Europe. His indecisiveness and reluctance to modernize were huge factors that led to discontent. Alexandra, on the other hand, had a very complex relationship with Russia. Her deep ties to Germany through her royal lineage made her an outsider in the eyes of the Russian people, especially as World War I was raging. They both had this aura of being disconnected from the everyday struggles of the people. That kind of detachment became a big target for the Bolsheviks. This made the rise of the Bolsheviks almost inevitable. The working class, soldiers and peasants were facing famine, war and general suffering, while the royal family seemed to be insulated from all of it. The Bolsheviks capitalized on that frustration. Their promise of a workers' revolution became a beacon for those who felt abandoned. What's your angle for diving into these key players tonight?
Ah, thank you for stating that. I do believe we're going to go a little bit behind this period of the revolution, because there's a key player that's going to come into the chessboard, as we all know. And ladies and gentlemen, who would that player be? Yet the monk known Gregorian Rasputin.
Rasputin, the enigmatic figure who looms large over this period. Grigory Rasputin was, without a doubt, one of the most fascinating and controversial figures in Russian history. He wasn't just a mystic or a monk. He was someone who somehow became indispensable to the Romanov family, especially to Tsarina Alexandra. His influence on the royal family, particularly on the Tsarina, was enormous, and that alone places him in the heart of the political storm. Rasputin's arrival at the royal court wasn't a political one at first. He was seen as a healer, someone who could cure the hemophilia of their son, Tsarevich Alexei. But through his closeness to the royal family, especially to Alexandra, Rasputin's power grew beyond that of a mere spiritual advisor. His influence over the monarchy made him a symbol of everything that was wrong with the Romanovs. He's often painted as a corrupt, power-hungry man. His personal life, filled with rumors of debauchery, didn't help his image. But was he truly as malevolent as he's been portrayed? Was he a pawn in a larger conspiracy, or did he actually hold significant power? As we dive into his story tonight, I think we should also focus on how Rasputin was seen by others. Whether he was merely a figurehead for a larger agenda, or if he truly had a hand in shaping the monarchy's fate. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. We want you to understand, travelers and those like, this show tonight is not about Rasputin. It's about the entire situation of that early period of time. There was conflict around the world. There was manipulation taking place. They were key players putting chess pieces on the board. And now, do we find out tonight if Rasputin, was he a pawn? Was he a knight? Was he a bishop? We're going to find out as much as possible right here tonight.
Exactly, Ed. Tonight we're peeling back the layers of a tumultuous time in history, and Rasputin, while undeniably central to the story, is only one piece of the puzzle. The larger game at play involved much more than just one man, and we'll be exploring the intricate web of alliances, conflicts, and strategies that led to the downfall of the Romanov dynasty. What's important to understand is the atmosphere of the time. The crumbling Russian Empire, the rise of revolutionary sentiments, and the external influences at work from Europe to beyond. Rasputin might have been a visible and controversial figure, but what were the other forces at play? The Bolsheviks, World War I, economic turmoil, and even international powers seeking to manipulate the fate of the Russian throne. So tonight, as we discuss these key figures and pivotal moments, we'll be asking, was Rasputin just a convenient scapegoat, or was he an active player in this dangerous game? And more importantly, how did these events set the stage for the birth of the USSR? This, my friends, is where history and conspiracy meet. Let's unravel it together tonight.
Let us indeed. Doctor, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Russian Revolution, but we're going to talk about Rasputin a little bit more in just a second. So I'm going to put you to the side for just a few minutes, and we'll bring you back if that's okay with you, sir.
Of course, Ed. I'll be right here when you're ready to dive back into Rasputin and all the other intriguing details.
So, hello. I didn't see he had popped in. Hello.
Yeah, we got a couple. Robert Odell's popped in, Kristen Coleman, Cindy Waghorn as well. And we, of course, in the beginning, we had Lois Clark and Keith shared us out. So we thank you all for coming in.
Cindy snuck in behind me. I didn't see her.
I saw her, but I wanted to just kind of wait till we get a pausing point.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are just tuning in, we're talking about the Russian Revolution, the key points that started the 20th century, a time of chaos, but sometimes out of chaos comes organization, if you will. Key players that took place from the 1800s into the 1900s. So now we're going from the 19th century moving into the 20th century, and those board chess players that are here. Now, did you hear what I just said? That's the interesting part. The board chess players that are here. Now, this is that time in the early 20th century. Who are some of the most powerful individuals at this time? Well, some would say that it was a lot of American families that established what we know our banking today, the Rothschilds, and so many of those others. We'll not mention them right now. But they also, at this time, built a system that led us to a direction, and this direction is them guiding possibly our civilization. Thank you. There we go. In a specific direction. Call it what you will. I'm not going to jump into that because that's a whole nother area. But there is so much conspiracy going on at this time. We have World War I that's about to take place. We have the famine that's about to take place in the United States. All these things are starting to build up. We have conflict now in France and Germany and Spain. So many interesting points about to take place. Okay. You see how I have connections to this through Dad during that was World War II, correct? But I'm not going there yet, Rob. We're taking a chronology each show. So those that are new here, we want to explain that too. We are taking it 1 year, one step per the conspiracy issue. We may fall behind because we have to go back to bring it forward. So we may end up in the 40s, but there might have been something back in 1929 that caused the effect of the 1940s. So be aware of that. And don't go, well, we were just here. There's a reason. We have established foundations of each theory. That's what we're doing. And right now, were establishing the foundation of the Russian Revolution and why it even took place. So you got to remember, we have now, you know about Grigory Rasputin. What role did he take? Who was he even? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Bolsheviks. What connections did they have to the Jews? Yeah. What direction did they have in connections with the Germans, with Spain, with Rome? We're gonna talk all about that. It's very interesting, the connections that are being pieced together tonight, if you will. We're also going to look at other things. At the end of all this, something really intriguing happened, and at that, it may actually involve with someone here in the United States. Or were they just a false individual flying underneath the name of someone else?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find that out tonight, possibly, and a little bit more. Let's jump into it. Let's go with that. Rasputin. Let's start with Grigory. Grigory was born in January 21st, 1869. He was assassinated in December 30th, 1916. He was a Russian mystic and a faith healer. He is best known for his befriending the imperial family, Nicholas II, and the last emperor of Russia, through whom he gained considerable influence in the final years of the Russian Empire. Now, who is this? Who is this man we're talking about that had so much influence that people wanted to assassinate him? Well, let's explain that to you. Rasputin was born to a family of peasants in Siberian village of Pokrovsk, located in the Temusky Altas, in Tobolsk Governorate, present-day Yokoskiv district. He had a religious conversion experience after embarking on a pilgrimage to a monastery in 1897, and has been described as a monk or shranech. I rather use this because I find this interesting. It is spelled Strannik. However, that is not how it is pronounced. Knowing a little bit as I do, there's certain ways that it's said. It's kind of like Middle Eastern people. How was it the Spaniards that roll their R's? The Spanish roll their R's. The upper northern part of the world actually has its own kind of interesting dialect too. So they pronounce other things, and there's others, like sometimes you don't even hear an R. And then actually, this is going to lead to a movie that took place about 20 to 30 years ago too, and you're going to understand why. So let me continue. A Strannik, which in Strannik means a wonder of pilgrim. Though he held no official position in the Russian Orthodox Church, in 1903, or in the winter of 1904-05, he traveled to St. Petersburg and captivated a number of religious and social leaders, eventually becoming the prominent figure in the Russian society. In November 1905, Rasputin met Nicholas II, his empress and consort, Alexandria Fedorovna. In late 1906, Rasputin began acting as a faith healer for Nicholas and Alexandria's only son, Alexei Nakovich, who suffered from hemophilia. He was a divisive figure at court, seen by some Russians as a mystic, a visionary, a prophet, much like we have today, and by others as a religious charlatan. Much like some people are called today.
Right.
The extent of Rasputin's power reached an all-time high in 1950, when Nicholas left St. Petersburg to oversee the Imperial Russian Army as it was engaging in its First World War. In his absence, Rasputin and Alexandria considered their influences across the Russian Empire. However, as the Russian military defeated mounted on the Eastern Front, both figures became increasingly unpopular. And in the early morning of December 30th, 1916, Rasputin, I like to do that, Rasputin, was assassinated by a group of conservative Russian noblemen who opposed his influence over the imperial family. Now, we're getting ready to really jump in to the meat and gravy of the Russian Revolution. It's going to be really interesting.
So I found some interesting facts as you described him.
Bring it on. That's what it's
So
about.
when you first started out the story and you talked about what he looked like, I was like, he's got to be a monk. That was the first thing that came through my head.
Mhm.
So, but as you were just, well, you know, he's mystic faith healer.
Mhm.
Okay. When you described what that other term he was known as, and it was a pilgrim of what?
Stroganoff.
But what do you mean a pilgrim of what?
Oh, no, it just means pilgrim.
Well, it made me go, was he considered a gypsy?
Ah, jumping
I
ahead.
mean, it is in
You-
Russia and things like that. So,
Well done. Well done indeed. Yes. Now, that is something that I'm, wow, I can't believe you caught on to that. So, okay, so I'm going to say it one more time so people understand. It's Stranak, Strannik. Okay, it means wanderer of the pilgrim. Just to clarify that one. So get that clarified. So it is interesting because, in my opinion, of the research that I did over this week and the stuff that I already knew, because I was fascinated with Rasputin for a longest time, because I'm like, is this dude good or bad? You know, Dad would talk to me about it, and there's a reason, because we're going to talk about that in just a little while. How I really got involved with Rasputin and this whole Russian thing. Kenny and I both, oh, sorry, Robert and I both were a part of this. But I'm going to jump in here real quick. I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to say this. The interesting part to me is I saw a Romanian gypsy as well. That's what I'm seeing. His looks, his actions, how he came about, how he delivered his manipulation. Ooh, yes. Now, if he wasn't Romanian, which we know he wasn't, that doesn't mean he couldn't have been trained. Where did he go? We know he went to Siberia to become a monk. What kind of monk did he become? What did he learn? Where did he go to learn it? It's not there. We have no idea in his travels. Interesting.
and never part of a church.
Exactly. So, Nikki puts in here, I am likely going to personally know some of the people you will be mentioning from the past lifetime. Rock on. She brought here, we had a specific nickname for the Rasputin, one that I won't publicly state. Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, let's not. There's some things we just don't want to get too involved in. But, however, let us get into why we're even here tonight. I mean, we got to get into that. This may even roll into next Sunday, you guys. That's how deep this could possibly go. And if y'all are down with it, we'll take this bad boy as far as we can to get every little piece about this situation and keep moving. So, yeah. So here we are. The Russian Revolution was a period of political and social change in Russia, starting in 1917. This period saw Russia abolish its monarchy and adopt a socialist form of government, following two successful revolutions. Do you like that? I'm putting that accent in there. A civil war. It can be seen as a precursor. Yeah, thank you. Mouth problems with other revolutions that occurred in the aftermath of World War I. Do you understand now why we have to start here? What did that just say? The precursor for other revolutions that occurred in the aftermath of World War I. Oh, we're going to get some deep shit tonight. The Russian Revolution was a key event of the 20th century. The Russian Revolution was inaugurated with the February Revolution in 1917. I can't even read my handwriting sometimes. In the midst of World War I, with the German Empire inflicting defeats on the front and increasing logistic problems causing shortage of bread and grain. The Russian army was losing morale with large-scale mutiny looming. Officials were convinced that the Tsar, Nicholas II, abdicated, the unrest would subside. Nicholas stepped down, adhering in a provisional government led by the Duma, the parliament. During the unrest, Soviet council. Now, this is interesting. They're already using the word Soviet now. Okay, here we are. The Soviet councils were formed by locals to the Petrograd that initially did not oppose the new government. However, the Soviets insisted on their influence in the government and control of their militias. By March, Russia had two rival governments. The Provisionist Government held state power in military and international affairs, whereas the network of Soviets held domestic power. Critically, the Soviets held the allegiance of the working class and urban middle class. There were mutinies, protests, strikes all over. Socialist and other leftist political organizations competed for the influence within the provisional government of the Soviets. Factions included Menshevik, the social revolutionaries, the anarchists, and the Bolsheviks, a far-left party led by Vladimir Lenin. The Bolsheviks, won popular with their program proposing peace, land, and breed. We all know how that went. At the end of the war, land for peasantry and ending famine. After assuming power, the provisional government continued fighting the war in spite of the public's opposition. Taking advantage of the Bolsheviks and other factions, gained power support to advance the revolution, responding to the discontent in Petrograd. The provisional government repressed protesters, leading to the days of July. Now, we're about to get into specific dates and times, but you have to listen to the words, please, because they're going to come up time and time again, because it's almost a fundamental part of the Russian history. Let me get this going here. So, the Bolsheviks merged workers, militias loyal to them into the Red Guards. The volatile situation reached its climax with the October Revolution, a Bolshevik-armed insurrection to the Petrograd that overthrew the provisional government. The Bolsheviks, Socialist Republic, otherwise known as RSFSR. That's a mouthful. Okay. Under pressure from German military offenses, the Bolsheviks relocated to the capital to Moscow. The RSFSR began reorganizing the empire into the world's first socialist state to practice Soviet democracy. Soviet democracy, you guys. On a national and international scale, their promise to end Russia's participation in World War I was fulfilled with Bolshevik leaders signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, with Germany in March 1918. The Bolsheviks established the Cheka, a secret police revolutionary security. Well, that's interesting. Revolutionary security service working to uncover, punish, and eliminate those considered to be enemies of the people, and campaigns called the Red Terror. Here we go. Now, before we go any further, did y'all understand some of the stuff I just said? There are key words in this. We also just heard the beginnings of what? You want me to use the United States real quick? And this will help you guys. During the Civil War, the beginnings of the CIA took place right here in Virginia, right in a Orange County, in a little building called the Exchange Hotel. These were the very beginnings of the CIA. How did that come about? Well, it's because how Andrew Jackson and those actually went about doing the questioning of said prisoners, the tunneling that is underneath Orange County. So that's fact. All these weren't even to the Provo office. So when Andrew Jackson came off the train, whoop, right underground, right to the Provo's office, right down the road, because they're afraid of being assassinated. The tactics used, the idea, the thought, that created what we know today as our CIA. Now, what did we just learn? What did we just learn about the Russians? Well, we just learned that they kind of did something similar, something close. It is something that we know it completely different by terminology now. Then we didn't know. But it's interesting to me. The key events of Moscow and Petrograd. Every city in the empire was convulsed, including the province of national monitors, and in the rural areas of peasants took over and redistributed the land, per se. However, the Cheka is what we've come to know today as the KGB. See the similarities. I'm trying to give you guys so y'all can see how these things go in, because they say one thing, but they kind of followed each other. The United States and the Soviet Union. It was interesting how they ran and ran. Let me go back up here and catch up to everybody. Okay. Interesting. Devil soldier. I'll go with that. Oh, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
God, we haven't seen you forever. Thank you for being here. Our brother from down under. He's here. Hello. So was Stalin and Lenin? Oh, okay. Well, hold on. We can't even talk about Stalin right now. Stalin is not even in the picture as of yet. But Lenin is ahead of the party, the political party, which will be renamed again. For a reason, because of government control and direction and who's playing whose parts. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. That was a good point, though. Thank you for bringing that up, Robert. They also had boxers or rebellions in China. Yes, exactly. This is exactly right. That is the other thing. It led to rebellions and revolutions all over the world in different places. It was very intriguing. This was about the time when the Nazis were coming to America, and they were starting their propaganda too. Just give y'all a little in there. And just right down the road here, a little building called the Desjardins Sanitarium was created. Oh, we're not going to go too far. Most evilest place in the United States. Well, other than the murder house. We'll go with that one. Or murder hotel. Anyway, let me continue. And yes, Kenny, exactly right. KGB. Ooh, Putin was the next KGB leader. I like the way you said
Mhm.
that. And Cindy, I'm still thinking about healing blood disorder back in 1869. Oh, well, okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it for a second. So, Rhonda, with you being in your spiritualism,
Mhm.
let's probe at you a little bit. What do you think a spiritualist, so a healer back in the day, would use or attempt to use on someone who may have hemophilia? What would you think?
It's got to be some form of Reiki. That's
Okay.
all I can really. And then just, I mean, even it was probably not called that then, but just the laying of hands. I mean, I don't know what else they could have done.
Well, remember what you and I were just talking about?
Hmm.
The Romanian gypsies?
Yes.
We got to remember there's one thing that gypsies are, well, two things they're good at, but one thing they're really good at is herbs.
Yes.
They are amazing with
That's true.
herbs.
That's true. So it could have been
So,
like herbalist.
exactly. And however, herbalist, but we also have the manipulation factor of the Romanian side, which we did not say he's Romanian. We just said he gave off Romanian energy type.
Mhm.
Let me get up here. Nikki, I have a different thought on the most evil building. It's a government facility. There you go. That's okay. Uh, that's what I was thinking. Okay, Cindy, there you go. Rabbis. Not sure which one you captioned on that. Was that you talking about the head? I'm not sure. Or were you talking about? Oh, you know what? He's got another. I hate it when you do this, but I love it at the same time, Robert. Sometimes you throw that spark out there and like, hey, wait a minute. He did it. He just did it. It said he went to and did a travel. He traveled. Said he went to a monastery, but that's our term, a monastery. What if it wasn't what we think it was at all? What if it was a Judean ministry? Oh, because let me tell y'all something. You Asian people, you European people, you think you got a little sparky and you do all your magic. There's nothing better than a little Judean magic up your
Yeah.
panties. So, rabbis, rabbis. What are you saying now? I'm not. What do you mean, rabbis? Rabies? Joking, dude. Joking. Ray B E. Ray B E's. Rabies? I. You know what? That's another good point. We don't know. See, we don't know where the hemophilia came from. It was supposedly in their bloodline. Could he? Could he have been bitten when he was younger? We don't know. But that's a good. You just keep popping that little shit up, don't you? Keep it up.
Well, I mean, and you said in the beginning they called him a monk, but he had no affiliation with the Roman Catholic Church. That doesn't mean he didn't have an affiliation somewhere else.
This is very true. This is very true. He did establish he had no affiliations to any religion. But then the Russian Orthodox started embracing him. That's interesting. That's interesting. I will say that. Let's see. Okay, Camilla Marie Montfort. All right, Rhonda, you're gonna have to jump on that one. I actually don't know who that
Yeah,
is.
I'm not sure either. We got it. Marie Montfort.
Hold on, Robert. We're gonna try to figure out what you're talking about. Think Tibet. Okay. That's well. I agree with that. How do you? Okay.
Do I have the right person? The late 19th century Camille Montfort, 1869 to 1896, known as the Amazonian vampire.
Oh shit! Yes, that's right.
With the hemophilia.
Yes.
Oh crap.
Bravo! Bravo, sir. Bravo again.
Oh my!
Wow. Okay. See, this is why we do this show. We're putting connections, and we're all letting you bring your little stuff in. Nikki's bringing stuff. Robert's bringing stuff. I love this. So here we get a little bit more connection. Romanian, and now he brings out Camilla Moray. And you know what? And I forgot it because at one time when Rasputin was just coming about, they even had tales of him being a child of the night at first. So people made tales about him. So here we go. I like that one. Ah, you guys rocking.
Blood disorders. Yep.
Yeah. Nikki, how I haven't heard the name Montfort in years. Well, you know what? I'm definitely going to look into that because
Me too.
that's interesting. That we just added another link in
Another layer.
this. Indeed. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to do a quick rundown. We got 10 minutes left in this show. What we're going to do is we're going to continue this into next Sunday. I mean, because we've got so much further to go. And you guys are doing awesome. I love the way this is going.
Oh, so did Robert mean rabies like a dog gets?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. So I'm like, that's pretty daggone cool. I'll go with that.
But, maybe.
I don't know.
But the fact they didn't want him out in the sun.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He was not to be in the sun. And he was supposedly wasn't allergic. But was there a rare disease, a sun disease, a vitamins? Maybe it is over vitamins because which vitamin comes from the sun?
Vitamin D.
So what if he had a vitamin D deficiency along with the hemophilia? Huh, who knows? Maybe the hemophilia kicked that in. Hey, who knows on that one? But this is why we do this. Okay. Hon, if I could publicly state what I know from the lifetime, it could literally get me involved in a religious and a hyper people who recognize. Oh, I get you. Ask Sue. She knows. No problem. No, we appreciate it, though. We really do appreciate it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start the conspiracies. And then because we're going to need to talk about this right now to let you guys' minds kind of fabble. So you can tickle your own brain and go, what in the hell? How could this? And you can actually get ready for next Sunday and ask more. Because, is it going to get really good? Oh, yes. So, Doctor, we've had, here he comes.
I'm ready when you are. Let's dive back into it.
Absolutely. So we just finished talking about Rasputin. We have some great ideas, possibly Romanian grounds, because it never said where Rasputin went and took his journey, just said he took a journey. Now, with that, what about the factor that he could be a practicing herbalist, someone like that? Maybe that's how he manipulated his way into the empire's family.
That's a fascinating angle. Rasputin's journey, or lack of details about it, definitely leaves room for speculation. His background as a mystic and herbalist is often highlighted as part of his appeal to the royal family. What if that journey was an exploration of ancient practices, herbal remedies, or even mystical teachings? It's possible he gathered knowledge and connections that allowed him to present himself as a healer with powers beyond the typical, which would have been very appealing to Alexandra, especially considering her son's hemophilia. Rasputin's way into the royal family wasn't just through charm, but also through his supposed ability to heal. This would have given him influence over Alexandra, who was desperate to find a way to help her son. But if we're considering the theory that he was manipulating the family, it's possible that his knowledge of herbs, natural medicine, or even spiritual healing played into his rise, making him seem like an irreplaceable figure. Then, there's the added element of his potential connections to other secret or mystical groups. Maybe even something like the Rosicrucians or other esoteric societies of the time. His mysticism and power over Alexandra could have been a tool for bigger players who were trying to influence Russia's political future.
Well, you know what? I'm going to add this. Uh-oh. Good Lord, man. You're talkative.
As we dive deeper into this, it's important to consider how Rasputin's role went beyond just being a healer. His influence over Alexandra could have been seen as a form of psychological manipulation, perhaps even using his supposed spiritual connection to control her actions, particularly in the context of her son's health. But it's also possible that Rasputin was more than just a tool in this situation. He may have had his own agenda, and his mysterious rise to power could indicate that he was playing a much larger game than we typically give him credit for. His relationship with the royal family wasn't just about medicine. It was also about trust. And it's likely that Rasputin saw this as a way to secure his position in the political fabric of Russia. If we think about the chaos at the time, the instability of the monarchy, the looming war, and the general discontent, it's not out of the question that Rasputin could have positioned himself as a spiritual guide or even a manipulator with more political ambitions than he let on. Could he have been a pawn for others, or was he the one controlling the pieces on the board all along? That's something worth exploring more. What do you think, Ed? Was Rasputin just an opportunist, or was he a player in a bigger game that we've yet to fully understand?
Maybe he was a lot more than we think he was.
Yeah.
Because his past, look what he did. Look, he came about it. What was his total agenda? Of course, we hear this all the time. Look at France and the Cavaliers, the king there. How they they disputed it because the archbishop wanted control.
Right.
So isn't this kind of the same story as almost 100 years prior to that? The archbishop in France, to gain power, was going to kill or eradicate the king. But in that time, how could he do it? He had to get rid of his musketeers. So,
That's an excellent point. We see echoes of the same kind of power struggle in Rasputin's rise. He wasn't just an outsider. He understood the intricate web of influence and power. His manipulation of Alexandra could very well have been a key to his control, just as the archbishop in France had to find a way to discredit or remove the monarchy in order to seize control. The difference, though, might lie in the methods. Rasputin didn't go for an outright power grab the way we might expect a conventional political figure to do. Instead, he played a more subtle game, weaving his way into the royal family's trust by positioning himself as a healer and spiritual advisor. In a sense, this is where it's interesting to think about whether Rasputin truly had a larger agenda, or if he was simply a product of a volatile moment in history. You could argue that his actions set off a chain of events that destabilized the monarchy.
yes.
Perhaps Rasputin's eventual demise was a direct result of this game of political chess. The fact that he survived for as long as he did in such...
He just stopped mid-sentence. I think he's still there. I'm sorry, doctor. Are you still there? No.
Well, he brought up something that makes me even think, as an herbalist,
Yeah.
he could have done a multitude of things. He could have given drugs, I say drugs, but some sort of concoction to Alexandra that would make her mentally not okay.
Mm-hmm. Well,
He
yeah.
also had the ability to feed things to the child that could make him sicker or make him give the illusion of getting better.
See that? Yeah, because we have to look at both directions. Yes, we really do have to look at both directions when this comes about, because actually that is a fact. We're thinking and hearing, oh yeah, he's out to help the child, he's wanting help. We're thinking, oh, he's an herbalist, or that, when in fact maybe he was the word is eluding me right now, the catalyst
Mm-hmm.
of the negative situations to start. We don't know. However, this is an interesting. I'm going to turn the road just a little bit. Just a little bit. What if he was the catalyst? Maybe the Bolsheviks. Maybe he was the whole thing for the Bolsheviks. Okay, maybe something went wrong. Maybe he was a completely different party. I don't know. I still I feel that control,
Mhm.
that power. So I don't think it would be a different party. I mean, look, the Bolsheviks tried to have him assassinated like 3 or 4 times. In fact, there's one time. Hey, Alex, thank you. We appreciate you. Let's see here. Does everybody know? Everybody? Well, we kind of know how that goes. I'm going to verify it first. You know what? That's pretty interesting. Let me read that real quick. Cheap viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space. Oh, no, no, no. No, we know what that is. Bye bye. All right. And Nikki says, I was there at the time when I witnessed the things. Rasputin actually liked the family and didn't want any harm on the family.
Okay.
No, I believe that. Hey, what's up, Sue?
Yeah. I mean, he really could just have the best of intentions.
And I think
Because of what he was doing at the time, which would have not been widely accepted to be a spiritualist and mystic and herbalist, maybe the finger was just pointed at him because he made it easy.
maybe it was both.
Yeah.
He was doing what he was doing. Maybe he had a idea for what to do with the family, but then he was going to do something else. We don't know, but we do know he did manipulate the family. That we do know. Positive or negative, we don't know. That part we don't. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, you guys. Here's the other road. And I'm going to get y'all to think about this and we'll let you do your research and then come back and join us next Sunday. Let me set the scene for you. Again, for those who have not read, understood, or seen the situation, what took place. Again, we're at that date. The Bolsheviks ransack the mansion. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the word mansion. The home of where they were. As they did, they're pushing through the mansion. They're pushing through the sides. Their intent to capture all of the family. They had made them so upset and angry that Alexandria and Nicholas were pretty much on the death block.
Mm.
So, what happened? They came in, they took them by force. They took the kids away from them. And you remember that dreary little archway I was talking about?
Yeah.
That's where they took the kids, including the son. They went there, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. So here we are with Alexandria and Nicholas begging for their life. Do you really think Nicholas would be begging for his life? I don't think so. I think this man was one of those men who ran his mouth and he was like, I'm not going down without a fight. I'm sure he tried to put up some fight. I know it. I have a feeling. Alexandria, probably the same thing. I think they were fighters. I really do. So hold on, send him coming to that. So as they were in this position of where they were for execution, unfortunately, we hear 4 musket fires. Could probably more, but we pretty much know. Now, for the sake of where we are, I cannot say what took place after that. I think you already know. However, there is something that's coming out of that. And we're going to lead that into the next show. Oh, I'm sure he didn't. Like I said before, I see what you said. He didn't beg. And I believe in his character. He wouldn't. I really do. I strong feel that. So the muskets go off, and then the 2 are assassinated.
Wow.
they take, and this is where the power of change takes place. Hey, Renee. Hello. My cousin Renee's in the house. Hello. Kenny, Renee's here. So, where does that leave us? Well, I said there's more conspiracy. There's a lot more out of just this. Now, we went down a couple of roads. You heard the doctor. There's a lot more roads just with this revolution that's taking place. But I'm going to leave y'all with this because I'm going to let you think about this. After the Bolsheviks left the grounds, there was a group of loyalists that came out to take care of the battery, the baddies, if you will. Everyone was no longer with us, with the exception of one.
The boy.
No.
Hmm.
The youngest, I do believe, in the middle, the youngest daughter actually survived.
Okay.
And it is said that she went to 3 places. Now, when I say 3 places, I mean, oh, she went here, she went there, because nobody could find her. So I'm going to assume the loyalist got her out of that country. Now, the ironic part about this part is during World War II, around that period of time, after World War II, a lady here in Virginia began to claim that she was that daughter. And we're going to leave it right here for that because there are so many roads that this is going to lead to. I want y'all to look into that. Who was that daughter? What took place?
Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. I'm doing it. Cha-ching.
I love it.
So check that out. Find out who the daughter was. Come back and talk to us. Let's see what happened with this revolution. What did it kick off? Who could have been the inspirees with the Bolsheviks? We're going to find out next Sunday. So, travelers and those alike, thank you so much for being a part of episode number 4 of that's right, Clockwork, right here on the RNN, the Rift Nation Network. So many great shows. We got a new show coming. It's kind of what's a new name? We'll go with that on Thursdays. We're really excited. One of the original hostess of the shows has returned, Miss Christina Spencer. She is back now. So she has her show that will be airing very soon on the 13th of August.
Okay.
So see promotions on that. We're going to be hitting it hard and making sure she's seen. We've got Keith flowing on Monday nights.
Yep.
We've got Ryan and you on Tuesday nights. We've got Joni on Wednesday nights. Susan is everywhere. She is the
She is everywhere. Welcome back to Susan too. She's had some stuff she had to take care of medically, and she's finally back to join us. So we're
She's been
excited.
through some shit.
Yes, she has. Yes,
But
she
you know what? That's why I call her the Oz. I think she's our
has.
wizard.
Yes.
She really is. And no pun, but we've been there. So it's really great for all this. And now, even with Ashley, our newest hostess on
Yes.
Friday nights, delivering what she can, the network is growing. It's going in a direction, and I love this. I love that you got me to do this, what we're doing now. It's giving me a break from interviewing and give me a fresh
Yeah.
and I can jump back into the subjects I
And
love.
it's fascinating to me. I love it. I love it.
And that's what it's all about.
Now I've got research this week.
There you go. What are the possibilities? You
Right.
can do that too. Who could have helped the Bolsheviks? Did anybody help them? What was the grand scheme? Where did that scheme come from? I know.
Yep.
But we're going to play with it.
Very cool.
Would tickle your brain. So check it out. Find out who that young lady was. She wasn't young anymore. However, who was that girl that came to America supposedly, but then was at the same place in another location, and another place, the same location? Find out. I don't know. We'll find out next Sunday right here on the Orion Effect. Thank you, travelers, and those like me. Virtue be yours.
Have a great week and do something good.
Remember what she just said. Do something good.